You know, this headline makes me laugh, really. The nerve. The doggone nerve. Man, you are a major in the United States Air Force, and this is what you have been reduced to. Come on, let's talk about it. Welcome to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It's your host with the most. So this story is about Andreen Mcdonald and him demanding a speedy trial, his attorney says. So for those of you who might not know about the story, there was a story here about Andre and Andreen. You know, Andreen, I can't imagine the first time he met her and he was like, Andreen, that sounds good together. Well, this beautiful, brilliant mind had no idea that she was getting married to the man that would end her life on Earth. She's gone now from Earth, and her daughter, of course, is left behind. He, on the other hand, has been incarcerated for some time now, and of course, he gave no help whatsoever. Mum's the word. He is still being quiet about how his wife died, right? And throughout the whole ordeal, we must say shout out to the San Antonio Police Department, shout out to the city, shout out to the Air Force Base there for doing their part in helping to make sure that they located her body. And it was months of search. And then they found her in bones in a open area somewhere out there. This brother is wicked. But anyways, this is the update to that. I'm sure her family can have some kind of a closure now, even though I am also sure that years from now, still that wound will never be healed. So Air Force Reserve Major Sean, let me say something first. As a 10-year veteran of the U.S. Army Infantry and a combat veteran, I must point out that this is not a combat-related issue. This guy is not suffering from PTSD. He has never been deployed into a combat zone, because the first thing that people think of when they hear this, they start to think, oh, see, these guys go into the military in the U.S. and they come out crazy. This guy, of course, high-ranking, he was in the reserve, a major, a very high rank, and he was never deployed to any combat zone, so this is not a combat zone effect on the mind. Anyways, Air Force Reserve Major Andreen Mcdonald is demanding a speedy trial on both charges that have been filed against him in connection with his wife's disappearance and her death, his attorney told the judge today. Now, he was charged with her murder. He was first incarcerated, locked up, and then a bail was posted that was once high, and then the bail was reduced to extremely low. And of course, she's gone, and she left behind her wealth, and it was in his pockets, and he was able to post bail easily and walk out. However, he was still placed under monitoring. And after she was located, her remains were found, he was rearrested and now remains in custody and charged. So McDonald, 40 years old, appeared in handcuffs and jail clothing in State District Judge Frank Castro's courtroom for a brief hearing. The cyber warfare operation officer, who has been in the Bexar County Jail since July 13th, is charged with the murder and attempting and tampering with evidence in the death of Andreen Nicole Mcdonald, his wife of almost 10 years. Now, she must have been really young when she got married to him, because she was really young when she passed away, or when she disappeared as well. And 10 years, a wife of almost 10 years, she was definitely really young. For those of y'all who don't know the backstory about Andreen, she started her own business at 22 years old, and a few years down the road, she was wildly successful, running two facilities that we call, I don't want to be disrespectful and say old folks home, but I work in one of these facilities doing occupational therapy services. So it's not old folks home would not be the appropriate word to say, but going through this paperwork in front of me, I'm lost for words at the moment. But retirement home is more like a nursing home. There we go. So, or a live-in healthcare facility. And she owned 2 of those. Okay. So, Andreen Mcdonald, she was 29 years old, and she owned a successful company operating 2 residential living facilities for senior citizens in San Antonio. She disappeared February 28th of this year. Her skeletal remains were found more than 4 months later on July 11th on rural property 6 miles away from the couple's home. Now, mind you, like I said before, for the whole 4 months she was gone missing, this guy never gave an ounce of help to the search parties, to the police officers involved. He would not give up any information. He had lied and said they had a fight and she left in the middle of the night. And then where did she go? He told them that she went to the hospital. They went and checked. The hospital records show she was never there. They went back and asked him again. He said, okay, I don't know where she went. Okay. And that's about all as he's said so far. Anyways, the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office hasn't publicly released the cause or the manner of her death. So we don't know exactly if it was from strangulation, blunt force trauma to the head. We don't know exactly what it was, but we know that he has something and everything to do with it. Attorney John Convery, which is his attorney who represents Andreen Mcdonald, told Castro, the judge, that his client wants a speedy trial. Did I mention that they're both Jamaicans and I'm a Jamaican myself? And given his rank and the clout that he has, honestly, I think if this case was in Jamaica per se, that he would probably be able to get away with it. Because this type of stuff happens and they get away. In the United States of America, you're not going to get away with this so easily. And I am sad that this happened to her, but I'm glad that we are in a place where this can be brought to full justice. So Convery, which is his attorney, noted that prosecutors have provided very few discovery material in the case and said that he needs such documents to prepare for the trial. In other words, they need to hurry up and hand over what he needs because they have the right to share whatever is going to be leveled against his client, used against his client in court as prosecutory evidence. He, the defending attorney, has the right to see and go through this stuff as well. And they haven't handed over anything to him yet. So prosecutors told the judge Thursday that they are still waiting on reports from law enforcement officials. You can't have a speedy trial if you don't have the information in time to prepare. Convery, which is Andre's lawyer, said after the hearing. That shouldn't put the police or the district attorney's office in charge of that timing. McDonald's bail on the murder charge is currently set at $2 million. Meaning if he's able to post bail, he can probably get out. Not probably, he can, because the bail offer is there. It stands at $2 million and he is not able to post bail. While his bail on the tampering charges has been lowered now to $300,000. So he would need to post bail for $2,300,000 in order to walk out, and he is not able to do so. Convery asked that the judge, which is his lawyer, asked that the judge bond previously posted by McDonald on the tampering charge be transferred to the murder charge, and that a personal recognizance bond be granted on the tampering charge. Castro did not act on the request Thursday, but said that he will consider such a motion if it is filed. I am absolutely sure that Andre's lawyer will be filing that motion to have these money moved around, because he did spend a whole bunch of money getting out before, and they're saying that he exhausted a large amount of his savings, and so to set that amount again would be unfair to him. what I think is unfair was that Andreen was killed in the manner that she was, and now you're here talking about you need rights and you're exercising rights and you right to a speedy trial. But this is America, and this is how the justice system works. Convery said that he made the request because McDonald spent an excessive amount of his savings to post bond on the tampering charge in April and has complied with all of the conditions that were imposed on him. So in other words, then what his lawyer is trying to say is he won't run away because he posted bond before and got out when they only had him for tampering with evidence. They didn't have him for murder charges yet. And he was able to post bond and go home, and they put an ankle monitor on him, and he stayed home, and he stayed where he was supposed to be, and he didn't try to run or anything else. I think he did that because he thought they were never going to find her body, and he was never going to be charged. However, things have changed, and I think if he is let out now, out of supervisory care, and custody, I think for sure he will either run or he will either commit suicide. I don't think he's going to go to prison and face that time. Anyways, 2 of McDonald's vehicles were seized by investigators from the couple's home in March, have since been returned to him. A red 2016 Jaguar and a silver 27 Chevy Traverse. Convery said 2 other vehicles seized from the home, so they had 4 vehicles, remain in custody of the sheriff's office. A silver 2013 Chevy Malibu and a leased 2018 Porsche Macan. And Andreen Mcdonald regularly drove before her disappearance. So Andreen was the one that was driving the Porsche Macan before her disappearance. And they had 4 vehicles at the house between them. I mean, they had a lifestyle where they made good money. Her businesses were very successful, so on and so forth. So they could afford. The McDonalds lived in the 100 block of Solitude Cove, located in the Summit at Canyon Springs development in North Bexar County, with their daughter, who is now 8 years old. Now, at this point, I don't know if you guys recall that this guy went on her. Well, we received information that her cousin was now dating her husband. So Andreen goes missing. She disappeared, and the follow-up was that her cousin was now who had come to help him oversee the businesses, take care of the business affairs, had actually also gone into her bed. This is a cousin who she had blocked on all social medias. This is a cousin who she had run-ins with before, because this cousin had previously had relations with another man that Andreen was dating previously in Jamaica, and she had cut ties with this cousin, right? The story got really weird because people were even saying that, well, I think the cousin might have something to do with the disappearance as well, because the plan probably was for them, her, the cousin, and him, Andre, to get rid of her, Andreen, and then continue life together. She got as far as moving into the house. Funny enough, it was also said that Andreen had told people, family members, no, if anything ever happens to me, make sure that she gets nowhere near my daughter. Well, she got into the house and she was living in the lady's house while she was missing, and it came down to what it is now. Eventually, of course, he was arrested, and after her body was found, and he is now about to go on trial. So that's a little update for you guys as to what's going down with this case. This is a case of God's not sleeping, okay? This is a case of justice will find you. And this is a case of retribution. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. Do you think that he will run? Or do you think that he will commit suicide? Or do you think that he's a good candidate to be let out on bail? Or do you have any questions as to any doubts that he did it? Or do you think he is being framed? Or is he as guilty as ever? Keep in mind, he has not said a single word concerning this whole case. Other than, we had a fight, she went to the store, or she went to the hospital, which they found out to be a lie. And then he said, okay, she went out somewhere, I don't know. And that's it. We'll talk more in the comment section. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.